All right, so for today, what you're going to do is you're going to do page 82, top I. So go ahead and flip to page 82, and let's take a look. With this drawing, what two options do you have to start this drawing on? Which two planes? The front or the right. And since I've done this drawing before, and obviously I've done a thing or two on Inventor before, the front is really going to be your easiest view to get this drawing set. So let's start a sketch on your front plane. So start on the front plane. From there, when you have circular parts, it's very common to start with a circle. We kind of learned that back when we did CAD. So let's go ahead and just start with a circle. Let's start drawing a circle. To make this drawing really easy, if you constrain your circle to the origin to start with, have your green dot appear there in the middle, and draw your circle out, it's going to make this drawing really quick and easy to do. All right. So first, draw your circle there. From there, we're going to use the line command. Attach your line to the top of the circle, and draw it straight out to the left. Now, two different things you need to pay attention to here on this. When you draw this line out to the left, at the top, you should see a little symbol. What is that symbol? Tangent. So there's your tangent symbol. You want to make sure this symbol shows up here, which is telling you it's parallel to the origin. So you want to make sure those two symbols show up and draw that line straight out their ways. From there, you want to go straight down, make sure your perpendicular symbol shows up, and then straight back across it, overlap your circle a little ways so I can show you what we're going to do there. Oops, do not put that extra line in though. Okay, so from there, we're going to do something new that we haven't done in Inventor yet. Some of you I've shown individually when you've had some issues, but we're going to trim off these lines. In Inventor, trim is not TR. Trim is X. Trim is X. So you're going to hit X, click on that chunk of line right there and trim it out. Oh, I did not get my X hit for some reason. Let me try again. There we go. And then trim out that piece of circle in between. So there is our object trimmed up. Looks very nice in comparison to our book. Let's go ahead and throw on some dimensions. We're going to dimension the circle to start with, and we're going to put in a dimension of 2 inches on that. Now, since you've already trimmed out the other portion of the circle, this is now considered an arc. So when it dimensions it, it actually gives the radius of it. So this is a 2-inch radius. From there, we still have our blue line here, our purple line, and then below. So next, we need to tell how long this thing is. To do that, you're going to dimension from that line. And if you're doing something like this and you're dimensioning on a circular part, to the center of the circle is the next way to do that. You don't try to come over here to the edge of it, but you go to the center of the circle. And we're going to put that in there as an 8-inch dimension, so 8. Last but not least, we have this blue line down at the bottom, so we're going to dimension from the top line down to the bottom line, and we're going to put that in. If you look at the book, this is below the center point. Half of it's going to be 2, so we're just going to go 2.5, so 2.5. Once you have it there, it should be all black if you've done it correctly. Go ahead and finish your sketch. Extrude it. And when you extrude this one, again, no reason to go both ways, and extrude it just one. All right. All right, so next, following by those steps that we learned last time. Step number 1, what do we create on objects? Positive features. So does that mean we're ready to put a hole on this? No. So what are we ready to do next? Yeah, that next sketch, that next little, I call that kind of a teardrop shape looking thing here. So for it, we're going to start a new sketch. We're going to go start sketch. Where I want to start it is on the flat side over here on this end. So I will have to spin this around a little bit to where I can see that flat side. So I'm going to start my sketch on that side. There, however, notice how it's turned sideways. Let's rotate that. So we're going to come up here to our cube and rotate that around to there. I always just like to, so you see, twist this up just a little bit, and that's the way it should be setting. So this part should be going down, should be setting in there just like that. If you got it setting there, you're perfect. Go ahead and go back to the left view, up there on the cube, and now you're setting there just perfectly. All right, very similar to what we did just a few moments ago. We're going to draw a circle, and the circle, if there's circular parts in it, I most typically start with a circle. It's kind of an easy way to start. Randomly, just out here to the right somewhere, let's draw a circle. Okay. From there, we're going to now do a line, and I'm actually going to pause. Okay, so now, next with this, we're going to draw a line. We're going to line command. We're going to come up here to the top of this and attach our line to that little green dot right there on that corner. We're going to come across, attach our line to that next corner there, and a little green dot should appear there. That line's all black, fully constrained there. Good. Then we're coming down to here. Now here is something important. What symbol do I need to have show up here? Tangent. So I go over here. Ah, look, right there I got a tangent symbol showing up. So you click there. Now if you happen not to click there and I click here instead, oops, that's not tangent. What do I have to do? Yeah, come up here in this list, find the first one on the bottom row, and that's called tangent, and make that circle and that line tangent to each other. And bam, that's beautiful. Has to be tangent there. All right. Now next, we're going to go back to our line command again. We're going to attach our line back up there to that corner where we did before, just right to there. So line's attached on that corner. You're going to come straight down. Make sure you have some constraint showing up there. There it's showing that parallel to the origin, and that's fine. And you're just going to draw your straight line down there a ways. We're going to trim it off here in a second. So just draw it down to there. Beautiful. If you've done it correct, it should turn black there on you. All right. Now next, what do I need to do with this circle? How does this circle need to go over here? It needs to go tangent to that line. So let's put it in. If yours is way over here in weird or something, drag it over here possibly a little bit so it's easy to pick those two and make it tangent. So you're going to make it that circle, tangent to that line. Once you've done that, what do we need to do next? Trim it. So you're going to trim again off that little extra chunk of line there and that portion of the circle. So you need to trim there and trim off that portion of the circle there. Oops, didn't quite get all the circles, so I have to get that little chunk there. And there we go. Okay, so you've done everything correctly at this point. When you grab a hold of the center of this thing, move it around and see how it moves. It moves up and down. I always think it looks like a teardrop coming down. So it looks like a teardrop dripping down here or a water drop, whatever. So right now, we're changing the size of this circle for 1. So one of the next dimensions we need to do is put in the size of that circle. So let's dimension that circle. Again, we've trimmed out that circle. So this is going to be the radius of the circle. Our other one was 2. When we look at the book, do they look the same size? I think it's bigger. So we went with 2.5 earlier, and I think that looked appropriate. So let's go 2.5 on our circle, and there we go. Now, once again, grab that center point and move it around and see how it moves down. Again, if you've done everything correctly, it should only slide up and down. So it looks like that teardrop or water drop is just getting a little bit longer. Yes? So what we need to do is you need to dimension to the center point of that circle. So let's go dimension from the center of the circle to the top up here. And let's see, let's make that 4. Actually, I lied. Let's make that 5. Oh, come on. 5. And there we go. Go ahead and finish that sketch, and you'll extrude that 1. Okay, so now, as I just said, extrude that thing at 1 inch. And you should be good. If you hit your F6, it'll go back to your normal view. And now, just as we did on the last part of our block yesterday, our block C, I want you to look at this critically, and let's see if we can help this thing out. So from here to here in this direction, how's the length of that thing look? Looks a little bit long. So where would we go? What would we do to change the length of that? Extrusion 1 and sketch 1. So we're going to go open up extrusion 1, go to sketch 1, and let's change that up. So right now it's at 8. Let's try 7. Change it to 7, finish your sketch. What do you think? I think it's still a little bit long. So let's try it again. Kayla says 5, so let's see what we think about 5. I don't know. I think it's a little maybe too short. So what do you think? I hear 5.5, I hear 6. Let's try 5.5.
Yeah, five and a half.
Yeah, I would say vote between 5 or 6, or 5.5 and 6. 5.5. 5.5, 6. 5.5. It's about even. I'll let you choose 5.5 or 6. All right. So now next, the height of this little teardrop shape that I've been talking about. What do you think about it? I think it's too long also. So let's go in it. It's currently at what? 5. Let's change it to 4. Finish your sketch. And I think that looks pretty good. So right there, I think we've got some good proportions going with this. All right, so on our list of things to do, we got our positive features made. What's next? Negative features. On this object, it's holes. So let's go up to the hole command. Remember on the hole command how it works. You click on the face you want the hole to go in. So I'm going to put this hole in first, so we click on this face. I always click it way off center just so you can tell the difference when you guys, whoa. I had a very large hole there. I think 6 is a little bit large. So there's my hole. Now remember, you click on the outside surface of the circle, or you can click on this ring for the circle. Either way, and that will center it up. So there we go. There's my hole centered. I got it 2.5. I don't know. That doesn't look too bad, I don't think. What do you think? 2.5? I think 2.5 looks pretty good. Then do your hole in the other part. That part, again, is a little bit smaller. So maybe let's try 2. And I really think that looks pretty good. All right. Okay, so now's the last step. We have our positive features done. We have our negative features done. And next is fillets and rounds. So fillets and rounds. So we're going to go to our fillet command. Our 2 fillets. One goes here on the underneath side right there. One goes flipped around over to here. We start with our smallest measurement, which is 0.25, is where I'm going to start at least. And what do you think about 0.25? I think it's too small. So I'm going to go up to 0.5. I don't know. I would leave them the same. You can set them differently if you want, but I'd leave them the same, and I think 0.5 looks pretty solid. So I think I just go 0.5, hit my F6, and I think that is a beautiful looking drawing, except for what? Yeah, it's boring gray. Don't make things boring gray. The only pleasure I have in my life is when I grade and see pretty drawings. Not really. I have other pleasures in my life, but you know. So make it something other than boring gray. This one looks great. Save this. Focus and listen. Save this to your practice folder. Save it as P-82-Top-I in your practice folder. P-82-Top-I in your practice folder. P-82-Top-I. Good job.